Hey, you guys! Welcome to a very special edition of the Steele Wars Hyperchat. It is Monday, the 12th of April, 2021, and we are basking in the showcase of the immortals, the granddaddy of them all, Wrestlemania. So we thought we would do a special Wrestlemania review, but the main thing was that we'd been putting off, and by we, I mean me and our guest today, doing a special wrestle-centric episode for a while. So if not now, when? Hey? Welcome from Sistas with Sabers. It's Maria, who I hope's just there. How you doing, Maria?
Hey, it's me, Maria. How's everybody doing?
You sounded like Mario. Hey, it's me, Mario.
Right? That's my hey you guys. That's my hey you guys. Because I have to come up with one like you, because I'm gonna be like Steele one day.
I hope not. And I hope you take that in the best way possible. But look at you, the legit boss.
Man, Sasha, that's it. Awesome stuff. We've been wanting to do this for a little bit. Because we're both wrestling fans, so it's like have to have the big collision.
And whenever we do the roundtables and whatever, we're always throwing wrestling references at each other.
Yeah, man.
Just trying to tantalizing, just throwing a little punch.
That's it.
A little non-shoot held punch, never making full contact.
No.
But it is still real to me. And of course, it's a wrestling, it's a Star Wars reference, because in one of the main events of WrestleMania was Cosca Reeves, Sasha Banks herself, the legit boss.
You just tied it right together, man. That's so cool. And I get the it's not real thing. Like, I've heard that so much my whole life. And I'm like, well, there's this thing called Indiana Jones that is also not real. Like, that guy really didn't run away from a boulder, but you enjoyed it somehow.
What?
That really didn't happen either, Oh, wow. Michael Nip coming through with the Steel Cage Wars. That's dope.
It's not bad. Hey,
it's not bad.
I think the stigma with it not being real is because, for half a century or whatever, it was fake but getting passed off as real. Do you know what I mean? So it's like it was all kayfabe, and up until the mid '80s, wrestlers would protect. It'd be like going up to Neil Armstrong and saying the moon landing was faked. Like that, they would punch you in the face.
Right. It's very magician in that way that, you keep the secret and, all of that. And I think that's where that comes from, is that people still equate it with that for whatever reason. And it's partly McMahon's fault because he tried to pass it off as, a sport. But it is, I always felt it was like dancing. When I was a little kid, and we'll get into where the wrestling bug started and all that, but I told my dad that I saw them dancing, and he's like, no, they're macho men. They don't dance. But I always thought of it as they were dancing.
It's a very full impact dance.
Oh yeah.
But when you, and 8-dimensional, they're rolling, and they're not just using the dance floor. They're using the poles, and
you have to. Sometimes you have to work the pole, Steele. That's that other guy I was with earlier. I'm sorry, but I only love you. I swear, he didn't mean anything.
I'm more shook about the sentence that occurred before that. That was.
Sometimes you have to.
The pole reference. That's woo.
I'm gonna try to keep it PG for the show, man. I'm gonna try.
Sure you are. Sure you are.
The comments. Who the hell, Steve?
Where is that?
Guy.
Very good.
Oh man, I work with him. He's a good dude. I didn't sleep with him.
Devesh Sod says, I think someone did get punched by Buzz Aldrin for saying it was faked. That's why I made the reference. Sorry, don't mean don't mean to turn heel, but
right? That was quick. There was no build up.
They pushed me into it. Now, the interesting thing about this is this is the first time in a year at WrestleMania that they've had an audience before
of any kind.
Yeah,
because real people.
Yeah, COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But something that I noticed on the second night, when you say real people, there were thousands of cardboard crowd members.
No.
Yeah, like
shit. That's dope.
You know how they had there was the ring, and then there was like maybe like 15 rows of people, and then there was a big screen, like a backboard that just kept saying WrestleMania and all that.
Yeah.
Behind that, like you'd see it when Daniel Bryan's like going, yes, yes, yes. Everyone's doing it, and then behind the screen, everyone's there just like, and they were cardboard cutouts. I messaged someone that went there, and I'm like, hey, were there cardboard cutouts in the audience? And weirder still, they would have been probably soggy cardboard cutouts.
Yeah, because it was raining and shit.
Yeah, the first day, Jackie like texted me. No, I was watching it as I was walking home. Harry was asleep, and I was sort of had it on the top of his pram, and I was walking Harry home.
Yeah.
And Jackie goes, when I got out the front to see Jackie, she's like, is the wrestling good? And I'm like, there's a lightning warning, there's a rain delay. And she's just like, look at you, you're frothing. I'm like, it's very exciting.
It is, man. And it was just like cut promos. We're going to go back to acting class. Like, we're going to go to promo class. And it's like, find the New Day, put a camera on them. They'll figure it out. and I love that.
It was good. It was so much more organic.
It was so good.
Because if people don't, I haven't watched wrestling, like the WWE wrestling, maybe since the Royal Rumble the year before. Once the audiences went, I was like that's my favorite bit is like the crowd interaction and the pops and the live sort of comedy sort of aspect of it.
Yeah.
So it was just like I'm not going to watch because they if you haven't kept up with it. Now what they have is the audio. They have it in a stadium sort of thing, and it's surrounded by like 10,000 TVs with fans watching it at home. So it's like this crazy
Zoom
dream Zoom call. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's I don't no bias on that whatsoever. Here we go. We've got some inside information here. Ultra
shit.
Death Valley says,
spoilers.
Based on the rumors before Mania, WWE planned to put cardboard cutouts to fill out the rest of the seats.
Breaking news. Wow.
So the lightning thing was super exciting. I was into it, and it got the second. They never mention Sasha Banks in The Mandalorian ever.
No.
Ever. It's
because
bizarre.
To be fair, Sasha Banks never showed up in The Mandalorian. Mercedes Verando did. She got the credit as her original name. So McMahon can't touch that money and has no right to that, which is great for her. Good job, Sasha.
It's awesome. But it also means like, I'm not going to mention like taking my bat and ball. Like it's crazy. Like when she was a good guy, she's in like the number one show in the world, and you don't even mention it
because they didn't get a cut. I think that's what it is. Is McMahon was bitter he didn't get a cut of that, but she has a right to pursue whatever ventures she wants to pursue. Improv promos, like, and I love those improv moments. Just to go back to the promos, man, like that's when you can see like who is really the best of the best. Like I believe this, whatever your skill is, if you can do it at the drop of a hat, then you are really the master of your craft. So the New Day, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, those guys that they just threw the camera on and went to, they're the masters of their craft. So I was just so proud of them to see them in that moment, man. Like the improv was incredible. And it's so telling of the talent back there. And those folks that were able to perform on the spot like that, they need to be elevated in that moment. They need the support because they're obviously good at what they do.
Yeah, it's so much more exciting. Like, because they're more themselves. Like for people that don't know, like back in the day, like 80s, 90s, and like they would sort of just freestyle and they would, be more improv-y sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that's
more of
magic.
A sweaty podcast, But now they try to like script it word for word, and these people have to learn the lines, and it's not coming from their heart, and like, like in Austin 3:16, Steve Austin's famous saying, he just sort of came out with that in sort of the heat of the battle, and produced the catchphrase for the most popular wrestling T-shirt of all time. Absolutely. And I got to tell you, some of those wrestling T-shirts have been pretty bloody popular. You know what I'm saying?
I've heard. So I hear tell. So I hear. All the cool kids are doing it. But to your point, like Austin 3:16, that was an I love you, I know moment in wrestling, where it just came out, it worked, everyone loved it. And I feel like that's the best wrestling, is when it's organic, when it's happening live. To your point today, it's too scripted. And that's what I love about the New Day, is they're the complete opposite of the script. Like they'll go out there, they'll rehearse the script, and then they'll promptly throw it in the trash and just do whatever they want to do. And it always works. It's always a good time. And I think that improv nature of wrestling and the unpredictability of it is what keeps fans coming back, even with all the other hullabaloo that happens. Yeah,
and you bring up the New Day, like Xavier Woods. He just seems like that dude's just having so much fun out there being an idiot.
So proud of him.
And like that's like you want to see people like having fun. It's sort of you root for that person.
Absolutely.
That's having fun. Sam Clean says they can just profit off anything they do with their stage names. Yeah, if they do anything under their, and that's why they change everyone's name so they can own the name. That's why The Rock, he was The Rock at the start, and then he wanted to sort of cut them out of it, so he became Dwayne Johnson. And I think then I don't know, they worked out something later on. They gave him The Rock or whatever is going on. But and they're very tightly controlled about what they're allowed to do and like
where they can be seen.
And then they change the rules. They take people's Twitch streams off them, and it's not the greatest company.
No, there's no insurance.
It's not as benevolent. I know a lot of people. Stacey Keebler, she went on Dancing with the Stars and became a celebrity, and she just couldn't believe how the rest of the people that were on all the other TV channels or all the other shows got treated, because they're TV stars. But they get treated like sideshow circus clowns. I'm glad I didn't say they got treated like dogs with that bar. Whoa!
Prince would be pissed. Prince would be pissed about that. No, he's barking at a cat or something outside. Sorry about that. But yeah, to your point, like McMahon still kind of runs it like a circus. He still kind of does the carnival thing. And I think it's got to change, and we have to keep pushing them to ensure the wrestlers and make sure that they're getting the best treatment possible, and that we're not just patching them up and sending them on to the next show, which happens a lot. So it is concerning for sure. But anytime the wrestlers are in anything and they use their stage name, McMahon gets a cut of that. So yeah, it's very very, I guess, like not pariah-y, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, well, it's like they want it both ways. They want to keep it. They want to be this corporate entertainment where the Walt Disney of like traveling circuses or whatever.
mm-hmm.
But then, and they're on the stock exchange and they're all this and they get these billion-dollar deals. But then they want to keep the treatment of the wrestlers like a bit more 80s carny, like,
Right.
you guys are, bandits on the road. Like it's like this.
They drive themselves to every show.
Yeah, they have to get their own hire cars and their own hotels. He's
right. That's not his real name. Xavier Woods is not his real name. I'm so proud of him though. Like he's doing such great work. I saw more Black WWE performers in commercials during WrestleMania than I've seen in my entire life. Like I'm so proud of them. It feels good. It feels like there might be some change on the horizon. Like everyone's not a John Cena, and that's okay.
And a lot of main eventers this year as well,
which I'm sure we'll touch on.
I think we might mention it, but this year, because they could only get a certain amount of people in the stadium, I actually heard that it didn't, like for the amount they had to sell, they didn't sell out, which is sort of, I don't know, it's sort of reassuring that people went, yeah, we'll see you next year, dudes. Like,
yeah.
But they split it over 2 nights, which I find a little bit trying. I hope to one day go to a WrestleMania, childhood dream.
You've never been?
No.
Oh, man, you got to go. There's nothing like it.
Oh, which one did you go?
Amazing.
Which one did you go to?
I was in Orlando at the Orange Bowl when Ric Flair retired. And HBK looks at him and he says, I love you, and he kicks him in the face. It was dope. I was high as a kite, but I remember that moment. I have no idea how I got home.
How Ric Flair of you.
Right? I'm like, I'm going to go out the way Ric Flair would have wanted me to go out.
You super kicked your brain.
Oh, man. That's why I'm dumb now. That's I can't remember shit. I smoked away so many brain cells. It's not even funny.
You had them spare. It's all good.
It was amazing, though. What was that? Was that WrestleMania 32? I can't even remember.
I don't know the numbers. After like 20, I can't. But that was a good one.
It was.
That was a good one. We'll get to that, Eldred. Don't worry, buddy.
We will.
So first night. Now, up first, we've got the title holder, Bobby Lashley. He was up against the good guy, baby face, Drew McIntyre, who came back to the W. He got fired. He worked his way back up the rankings. You get fired you are actually fired. This is not a storyline. He got fired. And then he went off and he kept getting better and they got him back. And last year he won the title, but it was to no audience. Like it was, it's meant to be in front of 80,000 people. It's the highlight of your career. But he had to do it in an empty like gym essentially to no audience because of COVID. So he's up first, and I was like, the psychology of wrestling, it's their first event back. First time they've had an audience. Even the cardboard guys, they were excited as well. All the cardboard audience members, but there were human ones. They were excited as well. You would think to start the show with a woo, you'd have the good guy finally win the title. And I was telling, because I was saying, Jackie, I've got to get there for the first match because it's the first match back and they're going to have this really happy ending. And I want to see all the people in the audience going, yeah. And it's going to be he gets like distracted or something, which is just the worst type of finish going on, and he loses.
Right.
Loses.
Completely fumbles. Yeah. It's good times. And he loses to Bobby Lashley, the black man with the least amount of personality in wrestling ever.
He's good.
Shelton Benjamin has more personality than Bobby Lashley.
He's good when he's not in the WWE.
He's great. He looks good. He's a heavy hitter. He does well in the UFC. He is not made for wrestling. He's just not. I love him to death. He's a great person, but good Lord. That's rough to watch.
I just couldn't believe it. We should point out, if you don't know wrestling. Wrestling is like, so wrestling, the wrestling George Lucas, they're very different people. Their belief systems and stuff. But their rise to prominence and owning what they created is a little bit similar, and that's Vince McMahon to George Lucas, right?
Mm-hmm.
But unlike George Lucas, who retired, Vince McMahon, who's lived a far harder life, both through partying and wrestling, is still at it, and he's just
refuses to die.
That's not how I was going to finish the sentence. I was going to say lost touch.
Okay, that too. He just absolutely will not go in the grave. Like, he won't do it. I'm like, Jesus.
But
they're going to send his bones out to WrestleMania 55.
I just couldn't believe he lost. I was just like, what?
Oh boy.
Yeah, so I was telling Jackie, I'm like going, oh yeah, no. So and then I just text her and I'm just like, oh, because she was like testing me. She's like going, how do you know? How do you know? I reckon he's gonna lose. I reckon he's gonna, like, she just loves like messing with me.
Yeah.
I just text her, I'm just like, you're not gonna believe he lost. And she's like, see, I know more about wrestling than you.
It's all fake anyway. Yeah. Yeah. That's fun.
Now, after I've got the notes up here from Wrestling Observer, Figure 4 Online, but there was this segment with the NWO and Bayley. Have you been watching the actual wrestling at all, like on Raw?
Yeah. I've been watching SmackDown more than Raw because I feel like SmackDown's a little bit more interesting these days. But man,
like I liked Bayley when I used to saw her 2 years ago and stuff, and she had the the things that would come up next to her.
Waving.
Yeah, loved it. Like I know she's meant to be like a heel.
Yeah.
I don't want her to get in a wrestling match and lose. I want to turn off the television and go out. It's just like she's unbearable. And so fake. She's not acting how anyone in real life acts at all.
Yeah.
But
I don't know what exactly she's going for with that character, but it just does not work. And they keep turning up the volume on it, and it gets worse and worse and worse. I think Elias is easier to take than she is, and he is very annoying. That character is just terrible, but somehow better than what Bayley's doing. I don't know if people are afraid to give her the feedback or if she's just, I'm going to commit until it works, but it's time to find something else.
Or that just what the writers just think it's good. You're not, you're sort of a lot of the time just a slave to whatever they want to do. And sometimes you just you're better off just trying to do their idea just so you don't rock the boat, sort of thing. But
that's interesting. Brutal. Or she could be playing it up to show them it's not working.
Oh, that would be a double.
That would be an interesting move for her. But it could be the writers.
Sadly, it's like burning down your house to prove it's flammable.
Right?
I told you.
It's a ballsy move, but hey, it's worked for people in the past. So if that's what it takes, then good luck with that.
I'll run through a few other matches. There was the women's tag team like roulette thing. Just did like really folded some t-shirts during that bit. That's not a euphemism. I was folding t-shirts. Then that was terrible.
So sad to see Naomi go so quickly too. Like, she's one of the hardest working women in the wrestling division, and she doesn't have a wrestling background. I don't know how many people know this about Naomi. She's been with the company for about 10 years. She was a Magic cheerleader in Orlando, my hometown. She was a fantastic cheerleader. She did gymnastics, and she was a backup dancer at one point in time. And now she's a wrestler, and she's had over 10 years worth of commitment to the company, but she rarely gets the screen time that she deserves.
Yeah, I don't know that much about her, but just the whole, like, when you've got a match with 5 tag teams, like, there's so many people in it. It's like, well, how important is this? It's not.
Right.
And it's the winner gets to go in a match tomorrow night. It's like, come on. Don't you have
Very
a TV?
convoluted.
Don't you have like 3 TV shows a week that you could have sorted out these issues and just to show me the best ones?
That's it.
I don't want to see all 10.
Yes, Freddie Prinze Jr. did used to write for WWE.
It's a Michael Nip question. Now, this was my first like thing that I was like, oh, this feels like WrestleMania. When Seth Rollins came out, like just like the pyro and just how
the fire.
How it goes, burn it down!
Yeah.
And he had a sweet match with Cesaro. Cesaro winning with the spins. Oh, and he did that thing where he had him up on the neck, the UFO. Oh,
that was cool.
Fabulous.
It was a very WrestleMania moment. And it was good to see Cesaro get the recognition because he's a mid-card performer. If you don't know what that means for non-wrestling people, it means they're not the Luke Skywalker. They're more of like the Hondo. They're in the middle of the character lineup. And he works really hard, but he doesn't often get the shine that he deserves. So it was nice to see him get a win at WrestleMania on his own, solo.
I like his vibe. There's something about, I don't know, I like his vigor, just the way he carries himself. And then there was a pretty sweet tag team match. AJ Styles and Omos, who's this just like 27-foot dude.
Well, AJ Styles is 4'1", so I mean that's And yes, agree. Cesaro should be more than what he is. He deserves all the flowers. Absolutely. Agree with that. Man, I am so uncomfortable with the AJ Styles storyline that they've got going on.
Oh, why is that?
Well,
I don't know what it is. So, like,
okay. So AJ Styles was paired with this Omos guy, and he carries him around. He carries his bags. He does what AJ Styles says. And it kind of reads like he's his Negro manservant. And I'm not comfortable with that. Yes, that face is the face that I make every time I see that dynamic. I'm like, no, we can do better. No. I want to see Omos like turn on him and say, no, now you're going to do what I say, or, you know what I mean? Something. It just week over week, it gets really old to see this man in service of this 5'1" gnome with a Karen haircut. It's really odd.
His haircut is amazing. Well, they just become mates. Do you know what I mean? Just do your thing. But Maria, come on. Are you being like, that's the benefit of the doubt here. It's not as though the WWE and wrestling, as far as, like conveying, like, like different cultural heritage, like there hasn't been that many bumps in the road.
you're right. There haven't been that many racial tropes in the WWE. Insert Coco Beware here. Insert Kofi Kingston here. Insert British Bulldog. Insert Sheamus. Like
Mark Henry.
They're all like these racist tropes, like Yokozuna, who is not Asian. What's happening here? What? No. Good times. Good times.
Very average.
He's supposed to be the bodyguard of AJ Styles, but AJ Styles is a champion over many years in his career, and he is a father. I would think that he wouldn't want a bodyguard or need one. I just feel like there was another way that they could have gone with that, even as a heel. Like there was another way that they could have gone with that didn't read, so poorly. There were other options,
It's just that thing of like with that it's just like there's no one. The way it's set up with Vince McMahon being the exalted one, like there's just not that much room, from what I know, for people to go, hey, how about we just maybe don't do that because of this? Like,
right.
It's just they definitely what is it? They'd rather ask for an apology than permission or whatever. It's just like, they've done so many bad, like just ill-timed, just
Punjabi prison.
Oof.
Yeah, take your pick. Like, Muhammad Hassan, like that wasn't something that should have been done. And I'm like, why are we doing this? No. I will say this though, I was really impressed with Damian Priest. And I think that's a reflection of Stephanie and Hunter bringing the new forward. He's an NXT guy. He's a Latino guy. And guess what? He comes out. You can't tell he's Latino by the way he's dressed. He's not riding a donkey. He doesn't have a sombrero hat on. And that's fantastic. He can just be himself. Wouldn't that be cool if he could just walk out there and be himself?
Yeah. And for people that don't know, they're just like, oh, what are these? You mentioned these wrestlers, but what's an example? There was a trio of wrestlers from Mexico that would come to the ring on a lawnmower. So this is like within the last 10 years or something. It's
not great.
News. Speaking of things that you maybe shouldn't do, the boss's son, Shane McMahon, is in a steel cage match with Braun Strowman.
Oh, boy.
This dude, Shane McMahon, looks like he is 3 breaths away from 4 heart attacks. It is, he's 51, and he's doing a front flip off a steel cage onto a hard ring. But I did like the bit where he was climbing out. He was on one side. So there's a steel cage around the ring. You've got to climb over is one of the ways you can win. And that's how the bad guys normally try to win. And so he's on the other side. Braun Strowman rips the steel cage open and then yanks him through the hole. What a vibe. That dude would be so good to just break into installations with. Just like, hey, Braun, rip this fence off.
Oh, awesome. Boy. Yep. Matter of minutes for those Death Star plans. Very, very quickly done. I do too. I worry about Shane and I worry about Jeff Hardy. I'm like, Jesus, do they not even care anymore? Are they just hoping to die in the ring? It's a concern.
But at least Jeff Hardy is like a wrestler. Shane McMahon is like he's just a weekend warrior for millions of dollars. But oh my stars.
It's something though.
Then the second last match was Bad Bunny. and
Oh my
Damian Priest
God.
versus The Miz and John Morrison. Now, to be honest, my entire knowledge of Bad Bunny existing is that he's a musical artist appearing on the wrestling. Are you a fan of the Bunny?
Yeah, I'm familiar. My stepmom is Puerto Rican. My sister is as well. My dad married a beautiful Puerto Rican woman. I hear that music when I get home all the time. I honestly, I'm a Ivy Queen lady, so that's kind of my little niche. I prefer the women. But yeah, the Bunny, he's amazing. And it's so cool to see him like live out his dream. Like that was me in that moment. Like I could live vicariously through him. He's having the time of his fucking life out there. Oh, I said, anyway, sorry about that. Just realized what I said. The celebrity bar is too high now because the celebrities of the past at WrestleMania have been like Mike Tyson or Shaq, who's moving incredibly slow to the mat. It's just.
Do you know who was good? That Stephen Amell.
Oh my God, I mentioned him. So Tom's sitting right next to me, looking at me with contempt because our marriage is on the rocks. But that's not the point. The point is, he's like, this is terrible. I'm like, no, I think Bunny is the best we've had since Amell. Like, Stephen Amell came out and he was totally game to do whatever needed to be done. He did the arrow thing. It was so good. Such a good one. And I mean, the bar's been set. Like, I don't think we've had a better celebrity cameo since then.
Both were good. And then others have been just abysmal.
William Shatner, like, okay.
Did Shatner ever wrestle?
No, he came out and
and just was just awful.
Did like a little skit or whatever. Anyway, I think it's really it's really cool to see someone who's younger and can actually participate. I mean, Seth Green did okay, but I mean, he wasn't really doing too much. Snooki, oh boy, that's a problem. So I think it's nice to have someone out there that actually is passionate about wrestling and can put their all into it. So it was really cool, and it was nice to see him out there living his best life. Like, if I had the opportunity to wrestle alongside like Miss Jackie, like when I was a kid and Miss Jackie came along, like it was like, oh my God, like she's me. I could be that. Like, because there was no black female wrestler when I was a kid. There just wasn't. And then in the 90s, Harlem Heat came around and there was Miss Jackie. And I was like, oh my God, like this could be me. So I just imagine like how psyched he's got to be. And The Miz, he is not a nice person in real life, but he's a great wrestler. And he does a really good job of making people look good out there. And John Morrison just refuses to age. I think he's bathing in squirrel blood or something. Because he just doesn't age. Like his body looks flawless. I'm like, okay, so you're like sacrificing squirrels to Satan to stay looking amazing. David Arquette, yes. Also, yes.
I once had a Mexican dinner behind David Arquette.
Okay.
I think it was it Mother's Day or something? Because
nice.
It was they were Courtney Cox and him. Just have a Mexican. Just over my shoulder. Over this shoulder, Maria. Over this shoulder. The stars of Scream just there eating their little chips.
That sounds amazing. I don't know what I would do.
So what's up, Julie? What's up?
I hear he's nice.
I hear he's
nice.
Well. Yeah. But if you're wondering why we brought it, he was once the WCW World Champion. So there you go. Hey, headline match. First night of WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about it. Set the scene.
It's going to go all the way back to 1989, maybe. Anyway, the date's unimportant. It's the Amway Arena. It's downtown Orlando. And a little girl is sitting in the janitor's closet while her dad is cleaning the arena at night. It's very late. I did not want to go to bed for whatever reason. Daddy's like, okay, well, then you're going to work. And so I went with him to work. And once all of the talent cleared out, then I could come with a trash bag and help Daddy clean up the arena. So it was my dad and a bunch of his friends would come out and help with the cleanup of the arena at night. So I'm in the closet, and this man with long dark hair is carrying this brown sack, and he's talking to this other man, and he's like, oh my God, this shit's getting annoying. I don't know if I can do it. And he's like, we're going to go out there and we're going to do it again. And I watched these two men walk away, and next thing I know, they're down on the floor in this little square and they're dancing. And I was just amazed. I'm like, wow, like, look at that. And you can hear the like booms coming every time they're dropping somebody. And it was just really cool. And then the guy didn't get up. He went 1, 2, 3, and the guy didn't get up. And I'm like, oh my God, is he dead? And then he got up. And I was like, oh, he's okay. And I'm like, Daddy, they're dancing down there. And it's so cool. And he's like, shut up, girl. They're not dancing. They're men. Men don't dance. They're macho. I'm like, okay. I like the dancing. Oh my God. So that's how it all started.
But you didn't reveal who one of the guys was that had the sack.
Oh, the guy with the sack, his name was Jake the Snake Roberts. And the other guy, I can't remember, but I saw him. He was really close to the door, and he was standing just there, and his hair was like kind of wet. And I just remember looking up and seeing him through the crack of the door. And I was like, oh, there he is, just there. And it was amazing. And I was hooked. And then I went home, and all my Barbies were 1, 2, 3. And, and I'm like, Dad, I got to get this doll. It's a doll, and it's got the guy. Oh, yeah. And my dad's like, that's for boys. You don't know. No. So my Zoo Barbie was always Randy Savage. So she was always the Savage. So, and the other dolls kind of switched out. But I wasn't allowed to have a wrestling figure because I'm a girl. So I didn't get one until Jackie. And then I'm like, Daddy, I have to have this doll. I have to. It's a girl. It's okay. So I finally did get one. I remember like watching my friends playing with the blue WWF ring. And I was just like, oh my God, like I would love to play with that. And I remember like sneaking into my brother's room and touching it when he wasn't there. Like,
that was a sweet toy, that ring.
I know, right? That ring is still sought after on eBay. Like to this day, people look for a pristine WWF big blue ring. But yeah, I could not play with those items. But as soon as like everyone left or Daddy was at work, I would go and I would touch. And then I would touch. And then I would, get the guys and let me tell you something, Mean Train. And then my mom would be like, what are you in there doing? Nothing. But I was immediately enthralled. So Daddy would do that during the summer to get Christmas money on the side. So I started going with him to the arenas to help clean up. And I got to see them. Like at that point, there was no like, it was like the late 80s, early 90s. It wasn't that big of a deal. But yeah, it was amazing just to see them up close. And, I'm just like, oh my God, look at them. They're doing the thing. he's gonna say the thing. It was an amazing time, and that's how I got into wrestling. And then once Miss Jackie came on the scene in the early 90s, I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I was in the ring? And then I put the Jackie doll in the ring, and it's like, oh my God, like, boom. I could do that? No way. I'm going to try not to cry. So those feelings came back Saturday night. I'm like, oh my God, we're in the ring doing this for real. Like the big show. This is the big thing. And I was like, oh my God, it's real.
Now,
it's amazing.
I don't want the waterworks to continue too much, but this before the match started, you've got Sasha Banks, who in the world of WWE right now is a dastardly heel. Although anything you see about her, she just seems like the best person. And some things she did after the match would lead it to me to believe that as well. I watched her the interview, the Broken Skull Sessions, because I've got this Peacock thing, this 7-day trial. So I watched that, Stone Cold Steve Austin interviewing Sasha Banks, and she talks about the Mandalorian and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And she just seems like just the best, such a good role model, such a just a positive, like I just loved how she's like, oh yeah, like I'm in the main event because I'm this good. Like this is like I'm not here for false modesty. Like it doesn't come off the way I'm, because if I said that, it'd be like I would say it in a way that would make people hate me. But she just says it in such a just well measured. Well, I am the best, so that's why I'm in the main event. Like I don't know, it's such a good trait. And then she's in the ring. She's the challenger, Bianca Belair.
Bianca Belair. That's her.
And I watched a little documentary about her as well. So I'm all, those documentaries are better than the actual wrestling shows, I think. But
I think so too.
This is a clip that I just found to put up, and it would I believe it's the first headlining WrestleMania with two black wrestlers, alone from two female black wrestlers, which is like
huge,
just like amazing. And this is the moment. We've got Sasha Banks here, and I love it when they sometimes they break character a bit. It makes it all it sort of molds it more into the, and you can still, it's still real to me. But just this, their emotion before the match was pretty sweet. And just let me know if you can't hear this.
To knock off the boss. Above all else, Bianca Belair.
Love it.
I was Bianca. They're looking at each other, and she just goes, okay, we're really going to do this. We're really going to do this. It was so emotional. It's like, wow, we're here. We're here. It was amazing for me. Like, little Maria in the janitor's closet never dreamed this day would come.
Amazing. I love, Sasha, dastardly heel, and she just
with the best wig in the business.
And she just can't contain her face. Like, she sort of just has to give her a smile of just like,
it's a history-making moment. Like, for that brief second, bam, it was like so dope. It's like you have to acknowledge that this is history being made. And even with that huge welt, like a smile on her face, very, very gracious. Two great performers. The only other person that wasn't in that ring that probably should have been was Naomi. But a fantastic match all around. What a great story to tell. And I love that it never got like catty. It was just about who is the best.
The EST.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I picked up on. And the match was like main event, like gnarly match. The bit where Bianca, I don't know how they got, I think like maybe Sasha Banks dove out of the ring and she caught her and sort of had her in this press.
Yes.
And walked up the stairs and threw her back in the ring.
Yeah. Insane amount of power out of her.
She
was on pure adrenaline. Like I saw her body just shaking wildly. I'm like, she's on pure adrenaline. And I would be too.
I'm trying to find this.
What a moment.
This other clip of I don't know how to teed up, but did you see that clip I sent you of her smiling on the ground?
Yes.
It's this awesome, it's on my Twitter feed somewhere, but so she's lost. Sasha Banks is lost, but like one of the great things in wrestling is when you lose, you can help someone else to be a bigger star. And this is like a fan's phone camera. And so she's off camera and she's, on the ground, behind the wall sort of thing. And you can see her sort of in pain and then look up and see Bianca celebrating. And she just gets this, like, just starts laughing. And it's just so good.
Yeah.
Like,
it's nice when you have that kind of positive energy. And when you really put someone over, right? That's what I mean when I say it all the time on Sistas, put somebody over. Then you should have that joy of, you know what? I did something for somebody else out there. I helped make their dream come true.
And making things better for the next generation of wrestlers to come through. Like,
that's right.
Because it like in the very salacious history of professional wrestling, sometimes the more established wrestlers have not been as kind.
No.
I'm just putting it out there. So
it sounds like kayfabe to me.
It's still real to me. So that was the first night, and I felt very satisfied. I thought the main event was just like I was very involved with what was happening. Great fun. Now, you didn't watch the second night because you were recording Sistas, yeah?
I wish I could have done it. It was entertaining to see Hogan.
Stinker.
Oh, night 2 didn't go well, huh?
I did not have fun. The best bit was what you brought up was Hulk Hogan coming.
Did he drop the N-word?
No, but the
crowd,
he
wanted to. but
the crowd dropped the B word.
There you go. He got some heat.
Boo!
He got some heat.
Boo! Bum, 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 bum,
good.
Boo!
I'm glad that society has not failed me. Good.
Hulk
I'm glad
Hogan,
to see it.
One of the co-hosts with Titus O'Neil.
Ironically, they partner him with Titus O'Neil. The nicest black man in the entire world.
Does so much for charity and stuff. Hulk Hogan is not the great person that he was presented to me when I was a little boy.
Right? Childhood lied.
Devastated. He's just a vile, it's
so disappointing when your childhood heroes aren't who you think they are.
Think of the most vacuous social media influencer that says controversial things, and like this, Hulk Hogan is the template for such just so the fact that they had to turn down the volume on the crowd because of all the boos was just that was a real shame. That was a real shame. Ba, 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 ba. And the thing is, I've got such warm memories of like the song and the
It's just tainted now.
killing me.
It's just tainted. Sorry, Ahsoka's outside and Prince is like going crazy. Because she's pressing her ass cheeks against the door.
Oh.
Just mooning the hell out of Prince.
But
terrible.
yeah, this second night just brutal. The first match with Randy Orton and The Fiend and Alexa Bliss, and it ended because Alexa Bliss was on top of this giant mystery box thing, and she started like crying black, like some ooze started coming out of her head, and then that distracted The Fiend, and then he lost. It was like, why? What am I like? It was. I tweeted. It's like the first match of WrestleMania Night 2 is me versus embarrassment. It's just. It was like, what am I doing? Yeah, and it kind of continued. The main event was pretty good with
Edge, right?
Roman Reigns, Edge, and Daniel Bryan. The end was just beyond goof. It was just like, again, like the match was good, but the like how he knocked them both out with chairs.
Huh.
And then piled them on top of each other and then pinned them both at the same time.
It's tough to do two guys at once. I don't recommend it. It's hard. It's hard work. There's no way around it. It's just hard work. But whatever. Sure. So did Edge win?
What did they do to us?
So who got the W on that?
Roman Reigns. He piled them both up.
Oh, Jesus. God.
Yeah.
Whew, that's a pill.
But I had fun on the first night. I really had fun being a little wrestling fan for the night.
Right on. Right on. I thought the first one was really good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was so nice to feel that energy from Bad Bunny, man.
You like
it was like I was in the ring too. Like he really delivered. Man.
I liked the bunnies.
Oh, yeah. Some of them lost their ears.
Little rabbits came out. That was good fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, got to get there one day.
You do. You really do.
Next year's Texas.
Get that big cup. The cup.
A beer. And then the year after is in LA.
Oh, is it? Oh, I didn't know. I saw the Texas trailer. I'm like, I don't know if I really want to go to Texas. Roman's still a champ. Jesus Christ. They can't think of anything else.
But yeah, so definitely if it's in LA, I can't not go. But if there is it could be that next year's main event is Roman Reigns versus The Rock.
You think The Rock would come back for that?
I don't know. He might want a last match, and it's his cousin.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. Maybe. Can you believe Kane retired? Like everybody's just retiring now.
Yeah, he's old.
Well, he is old, but he's wearing a mask, so it really doesn't matter.
No. Still old. He's like 90s. He's like early 90s.
I'm disappointed that he's a Republican.
Oh, let's not get into reviewing the beliefs of professional wrestlers.
Right? It's so sad. It's like, no, you're supposed to be cool.
AJ Styles has got that Karen haircut for a reason.
That's true. Those are facts. Disappointing. Oh, well. The New Day will never let me down. Still got the New Day. Right?
Wow.
Mayor Kane. Ugh, yikes. Wowzers.
That's our wrestling report. That's our WrestleMania recap. We did it. Lots of fun, Maria.
Yeah, man.
Can you please let the good people of the internet know who would like to hear you talk about Star Wars and related issues? Plug away.
Yeah, so Star Wars, I've heard of them. Yeah. So Sistas with Sabers is a great show about sometimes Star Wars and other items. So you can check that out. It's available on wherever fine podcasts are sold. The Katana Cast is an awesome podcast about Star Wars. You're never going to guess what it's about. It's about Star Wars. And it is a diverse cast of individuals who love to talk about Star Wars. 60 Minutes is also a really good one if I can recommend someone else to you to check out some new progressive Star Wars podcasts. Yeah, so you can check us out wherever you can find podcasts.
And where bad ones are as well.
Oh boy. Every now and then there's a lemon. I can't make every one of them good.
I'm not talking about yours. I'm just talking about where fine and unfine podcasts are found. Do you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
We'll be back tomorrow with regular Star Wars news. Now that I've vented of all my wrestling talk that I need to get out there. Very self-indulgent but it was super fun to finally get this done, Maria. So
man. It was a pleasure. Thanks.
Hit that algorithm because little Steele said so. Dun 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 dun. Wow. Thanks so much, and may it still being real to you be with you. Hey, what's your full name?
Toph.
It doesn't matter what your full name is.
I fell for it.